Welcome back to Business Breakfast in Bedhead. I actually do these live calls on Instagram. I would love for you to come and hang out with me at them. So if you don't already follow me at Dawn Bradley, DAWNBRADLEY, should have made a song about that. Go follow me there because then you can take part in these live calls and can actually chat with me. But if you can't make them, no sweat. Now they're going to be here. So welcome to Business Breakfast in Bedhead. Buckle up, friend, and let's dive in. I overthink, I overshare, and I overanalyze. So come explore with me as I chat about business, life, and relationships, all through the lens of an anxious creative. Good morning, and welcome to Business Breakfast in Bedhead. Today we're going to talk about how to get clients without coming across as desperate. I hear this time and time again. I struggled with this as well. It's like, I need new clients, I want to tell them, but it feels like I'm like begging people to come in. It feels like I'm like desperado, and I don't want people to think that. Also, I'm this far into my career. I feel a little embarrassed that I have to tell people that I have bookings. And so if this is you, listen up, tune in, share this with someone to tune in with us because you are going to love this live. All about getting new clients without coming across as desperate, how to get over the fear of embarrassment, the fear of I should be in a different place by now, and actually get your book full. So good morning and welcome. Go ahead and put your name, where you're tuning in from in the chat. Hi, Patty, because I want this to be a community of us connecting together. I don't want to be talking on you at a screen, talking at you on a screen. I've been up for a couple hours, but still my mouth and brain don't work that well. I want to talk with you. I do these lives weekday mornings to help you. So it's actually proven neurologically that the more you participate, the more you give the hearts, or the more you put in the comments, the more you actually retain. And so I want you guys to participate with me. Also, it helps me understand what's resounding with you because I thrive on connection. I thrive on communication. Sean, 16 years in Edmonton, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I love it. Rebecca in New Jersey. We've got someone 24 years in. So good. So one thing I want to start off with is letting you guys know I've built and rebuilt my clientele 6 times on 3 different continents. It's not that I got lucky and that I've magically bestowed with the ability to how to grow my clientele. It's that I haven't given up. I failed so many times, so miserably. But here's the thing, is what I learned is like I try things enough to know if they worked or not. I wouldn't try something once and it didn't work and I gave up and I switched to the next thing. That happens a lot. That happens a lot with people switching careers. That happens people like getting into the thick of it, of being like, this is hard. Is it hard or is it not working? Have you tried something different? So these are things I want you to start considering. Are you getting out of your comfort zone? Are you going through the motions with the wrong energy behind it? Honestly, people can feel the energy you put into something. And this is what I teach in my client building bundle. This is what I'm going to be teaching live in the client magnet workshop that I have going on. And if you guys know, there's a highlight all about, it says get clients. You can learn, you can sign up for the early bird price for my client magnet workshop that I'm going to be doing live, really helping people rebuild their clientele. So if you're a few years into your career and you're struggling, you were busy at one point, you're not busy anymore, maybe you've left the industry for a few years and you're coming back and you're just really struggling with this, how do I rebuild? I don't know how to navigate this landscape of social media anymore. I feel like I don't really love social media. It's not what my thing. I love what I do. I love the people that I help, but this whole social media thing or this whole building my clientele is like not what I got into this job for, and I'm really struggling, and I want to create a magnetism towards myself so that I don't have to put this effort forward and this feeling like I'm trying to convince people to book in with me, feel it's coming off as desperate. The client magnet workshop that I'm going to be hosting is for you, and we've got early bird on right now, and also I have a few spots left for the first few people who join up. It was first 10, there's just a couple spots left. First 10 people get a one-on-one 90-minute strategy session with me. So there's my quick spiel about that. But the reality is that the energy you might be going out into the world with is deterring people. You're having a feeling of embarrassment. Whatever feeling, let me know in the comments. What's the feeling that's stopping you from going and doing the thing? Oh, Folsom, California. Hello, Maria. Is it fear? Is it embarrassment? And if it's fear, what is it a fear of? Because you need to understand what is the fear. And I heard this question yesterday and it really kicked me in the ass. And I want to share it with you this morning because this is going to help you rebuild your clientele. What's the goal you want to achieve by, let's say by August 31st, right? We're going to head into, my goal for you is to be heading into the fall, into the autumn, booked up, full clients. And that's why I'm hosting the Client Magnet Workshop. My goal for you. So
I want you to ask, what is your personal goals in your business for the next month? And then ask yourself, what am I scared that going after that will make me have to sacrifice? And maybe it's sacrificing your pride. Maybe it's sacrificing your ego. I know a lot of people who are trying to rebuild their clientele, either being away from the industry for a few years, maybe you're on mat leave, maybe you switched careers, maybe you moved to a new city, and the fear of putting yourself out there and trying to get new clients, there's some sort of like, embarrassment or shame around I shouldn't be in this place, right? Cringing, fear of coming across arrogant, fear of success. Ooh, Noelle, that's good. Thank you for sharing that one. I want to let you guys know that this is a safe space and a judgment-free zone here this morning. I forgot to say that first things. That's what I always like to say, safe space and a judgment-free zone. We're all in different paths. We're all in different parts of our journey. And there's no shame in where you're at right now. If you're having to rebuild, if you're trying to re-navigate, if you're trying to figure out, I want to do things differently. I didn't like how I did them before. I'm so happy and proud that you're here. And I'm so excited that you're here. Samantha, you're here again. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you here. And so I want you guys to know that there's no shame in being where you're at. Shame and imposter syndrome. Yeah. I'm curious, Patty, what's the imposter syndrome saying to you? Because I know this is a very common one. A lot of us think, well, like, I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't be here, or I'm undeserving of this, right? Who am I to have this? I'm just so-and-so. I've had that with myself even. Who am I to have gotten this success? Who am I to be able to help people? Like, why am I so lucky? And then sabotaging things that are happening. And so I want to know that that's really, really real. Yeah. And so when it comes to building your clientele, are you willing to sacrifice the fear of coming across cringy? Are you willing to sacrifice the fear of people thinking you're desperate? Are you willing to ditch the idea that you have to come across? What if people started coming to you because you had this magnetism about you? When I moved to Calgary, I was 31 years old. This is 10 years ago. It'll be 10 years, September 22nd this year. 10 years ago, I moved here, 31 years old. And within 12 weeks, I was booked out fully from the basement of my rental. And let's remember that the first couple of weeks I was here, I was looking to go share rent. And I was like, nothing felt right. And then I thought about, I had my resume ready. I was going to go apply to be a employee, because everyone's like, you should probably, like, to move to a new city where you know no one and have no clients, you probably should be a clientele, or go be an employee. And I remember saying to someone, yeah, but I'm just going to piss off my boss in a year when I go do my own thing, because I did not want to be an employee. And I remember thinking it was crazy, but I'm like, you know what? I'll ask my landlord if I can put a sink in the basement. And I didn't love the place I was living in. I wasn't proud of it. I had my own house in the city I lived in previously and that I really loved, and I'd like made my own. It was like a girl pad. It was so cute. And then the place that I moved in here, like, it was just an easy place to move into. So I wasn't proud of it. It didn't look the way I wanted it to look. And yet I charged downtown city prices because I knew my skill and talent were there. And I knew the experience people were going to have, regardless of the location, regardless of the decor. I knew the atmosphere and the experience that I could create. And so I went balls to the wall, shamelessly promoted myself, put myself out there, even though I didn't love the location. I was in the suburbs, even though I didn't love the decor, even though I didn't love that people had to walk through my home. And within 12 weeks, I was fully booked. And that first year, I worked from home for the full year. I made over 6 figures. And then October 2nd, the next year, so like a year later, I had the keys to my downtown Calgary salon, where I worked alone. And it was, I think it's 690 square feet I have. It's now rented out to other hairstylists. And so I want you to know that whatever you have, whatever that like spark, and you're like, I just feel like there's bigger and better things on the other side of this, but I don't know how to get past this, or I don't think I'm worthy of this, but I keep getting pulled here. Follow that feeling. Trust that feeling. And know that you don't have to come across desperate or cringy. It's all in how you do it. And that's what I'm going to teach in my Client Magnet workshop. You guys, if you want to know more about it, there's the highlight that says Get Clients on my feed. And there's a link in there for the early bird that's on still. And it's going to be delivered live this first time. So you're going to want to get in on it live. And person who's ready to do the work, because I know you are addicted to learning, but allergic to implementing. And you keep consuming, thinking, am I back? I don't know. My phone does this. I think it's my internet paused due to poor connection. So the link is in the highlights on my page, like the highlights at the top, and it says Get Clients, and there's an early bird link in there that you can go join. And you'll be getting information all about it. We'll be delivering it live, and then you'll get the recordings of it as well. I'm going to say it. I hate doing balayage. I can do it and do it okay, but I love cutting short hair, but I only seem to post my long hair clients. Why? That's to me, not to you. Oh, I love it. Yeah, you'll attract what you put out there, right? And so these are things that, like, one, the workshop's going to be so good because if you join it now and you attend it live this first time while we're doing it, you're going to get my eyes on your business. You're going to be able to ask me questions directly on your business. And we're going to be able to work through things real time. It's going to be so freaking amazing. It's going to light a fire under your ass. It's going to get you so pumped up. And it's going to get you taking action. So the people who I want to join and the people who I don't want to join are the people who just want to, like, find a reason to prove that they're right and it's never going to work. There are people out there that do that. They want to find an excuse. They want to find a reason that it's not me. It's the economy. Nobody's willing to pay anymore. And they want to confirm that their belief is right. Please do not join my Client Magnet Workshop if that's you. If you're looking for an excuse to prove that where you're at is justified and that you don't want to do the work. I also don't want you to join if you're like, I already knew that. You know what? Most of the time, you do know what to do. And the education you take is to keep you accountable and to push you forward and to give you the inspiration, the motivation, and drive. And maybe 20 to 30% of it is new ideas, and 70 to 80% of it is reinforcing things you already knew, but giving you the push with the community and the mentor that needs it. Spoiler, you already know what to do. There's a reason you're not doing it. It's because you need community and accountability. It's been proven that if you have accountability to one person, your chances of success go up 95%. It's huge. It's huge. Patty, the workshop's going to be delivered live. There'll be an email that'll be sent out to you with the dates, and even if you can't attend it live, you'll get the recordings and have a chance to submit questions ahead of time. But I think it's the second week in August. So the people I want to consider joining the Client Magnet Workshop are the people who are ready to not just know what to do, but willing to do it, willing to step outside their comfort zone, know they're made for bigger things, even if they're scared shitless a little bit. Know that, if you've seen, I'm from a small town. I was shy, anxious, awkward girl. People always say, how do I get confidence like you? Well, confidence is born from courage and vulnerability. Willing to take courageous leaps and show up vulnerably. Being willing to fail. I have failed so many times. So many times. I've fallen flat on my face. I've made a fool of myself. I've had people say, like, are you embarrassed right now? Yeah, I have been embarrassed many times. But you know what? I didn't get to where I am. I didn't build my clientele 6 times on 3 different continents without a lot of failures. And so the people I want to join are ones who are willing to be able to be embarrassed a little bit, but for the sake of growth. Who are willing to sacrifice their ego and their pride a little bit, just a little bit, to know for the greater cause of, that you are here to do what you do, the service you do, not just to do amazing hair or whatever service you offer, but to care for amazing people. And you know that if you don't start showing up differently, people are going to miss out on what you have to offer. Yes, you're going to make a living from it. Yes, you're going to earn good money. And that's not if it was all about the money, you wouldn't be emotionally discounting. If it was all about the money, you wouldn't be hiding behind, I've been posting on social media, but nobody came. You'd be getting your ass out there. If it was really about the money, you wouldn't be watching this right now trying to figure out how to build a clientele. You'd be out there getting clients, ain't no thing. But it's because you have such a caring, compassionate heart that you want to serve people, you want to help people, and you want to make sure people understand the why behind it. So you don't want to be pushy. You don't want to, it'd be so easy for me to teach you how to build a clientele without integrity, without being a slimy, pushy person. That's the easy way to deal with it. Nothing has worked for me so far. But I think there needs to be a change in perspective, slow burn tattoos. So what I always say, let me find something to share this analogy with you guys. Okay, so describe to me what you see. In the comments, tell me what you see, just like details. I want you guys to put in the comments right now. We're gonna have a lesson on perspective. So slow burn tattoos, nothing's worked for me. And I want you to change the narrative. And as you guys write what you see, write in the comments what you see here. We're going to have a lesson. But what I want to say is, I know it seems cheesy and flaky, but to change that from nothing's worked for me, I haven't found my magic yet. I haven't found the thing that works for me yet. Instead of saying nothing has worked for me, changing I'm still looking for the thing that works. And then that way you change the neural pathway in your brain of what you believe. Because if you stay stuck in the nothing's worked for me, then you'll go, nothing ever will work for me. Okay, stars, moons, bright blue eye and sprinkles and stars, blue eyes. And so I would say to you guys, well, what I see is pink and the word Amora. We're looking at, I don't see an eye. I don't see stars, but we're looking at the same thing, right? And so the reality is I'm looking at this side and this is what I see, and you're looking at this side and you're describing what this sees, and we're looking at the same thing, but we're describing very different things. And this is what happens when we get stuck in our perspective of it doesn't work, it's not going to work, I'm not cut out for this. And someone else can tell you, I could sit here and try to convince you, there's no eye, there's no star, I don't know what you're talking about. I can sit here and go, you've got what it takes to build your clientele. You have everything you need. But if you're stuck on going, well, but it's this way, and this is the only way, and it's not going to work, and this is what I see, and if you're not willing to change your perspective and see it from a different point of view, you're going to stay stuck. And so I want people to join the Client Magnet Workshop who are willing to shift their perspective. A change in perspective can be the most valuable thing that you experience, not only in your career, but in your life. Right? Drawn to everything around and absorbing it in. And so being willing to be open, to be coachable. And I've had people join programs before where they're like, that won't work for me. And I'm like, this won't work if you don't believe it will work. A belief that something will work, a belief that there is something that can open up, and a belief that if I try, but if you go into trying something, being like, it's not going to work, I can't do that, you'll make sure that happens. Your beliefs are like a compass. You'll head in the direction of what you believe is possible. And so you need to start opening yourself up. That's why I have this whole journal that I write down the same things every single morning. But I'm a big deal and I can do hard things. I trust in myself and my intuition. I'm capable and willing to do bigger things. It's safe to be seen and criticized. Listen, people are going to watch my stuff. I guarantee you there are people that go onto my page and cringe and go, what is she about? What is going on? What's the deal with Dawn? Like, who does she think she is? But then there's people like you who are like, oh my God, I needed this, right? I'm not going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to like me. One of my most listened to podcasts, if you didn't know I had a podcast, it's called The Anxious Creative. It's called Bourbon Doesn't Give a Shit. And I had a guy I dated who loved bourbon. And I remember trying it and being like, this is disgusting. And if bourbon had feelings, and it was like, oh, Dawn doesn't like me. How can I make Dawn like me? And I had said, oh, it's too strong. Bourbon walked to the sink and like put water in it to water it down. It's like, if I'm too strong, I'll water myself down for Dawn. And then comes back and I taste it watered down and I go, oh, I still don't like it. And then the guy I was dating would taste it and be like, this is watered down, disgusting. When you try to be for everyone, you end up being for no one. And so you need to be able to change the neural pathways. Whether you believe in the power of mantras or not, you have them on repeat in your brain. You tell yourself something repeatedly every day. And so start changing it. If you think this doesn't work or this won't work, I am open to new possibilities. I'm willing to try new things. I am a magnet. I'm a client magnet. People are drawn to what I have to offer. I'm able to talk confidently about what I offer without being conceited. Start repeating these things to yourself. This is stuff that I teach inside of my program, Rock Your Business, which encompasses everything that I teach. And if you guys haven't taken any of my education before, well, one, the Client Building Bundle, which is all pre-recorded videos, is a great place to start. If you want free, you can comment the word booked and I'll send you the link to get my free playbook. That's a great place to start if you haven't purchased any of my programs, to see if my education's for you. If you've taken some of my education and you want to go deeper and go into building a clientele, rebuilding a clientele, my Client Magnet Workshop that's coming up is going to be huge. It's live. I haven't done live education in a hot minute. And we're going to be able to talk real time about the things that are tripping you up, because it's not generally about what you need to do, because you know what you need to do for there's something holding you back from doing the thing. And I'm curious, can you put in the comments right now, what is it that, and a lot of people will say fear. I don't want the answer to be fear. I want you to tell me what's behind the fear. What's actually holding you back from doing the thing you know you should be doing right now? And I don't like saying shoulds, because shoulds imply shame and we're shoulding all over ourselves. But you know there is something you could do right now to build your clientele or rebuild your clientele or put yourself out there. And yet you keep yourself busy with doing other things that convince yourself you're getting work done, but it's not being productive, it's just being busy. Confidence, Patty. Oh yeah, confidence, I love that. A lack of confidence, Rejection. Ooh, that's a big one. Yeah, fear of rejection. Huge. And so, Patty, Brené Brown says confidence is born from courage and vulnerability. So people wait to become more confident to do something, but the only way to become confident is to be willing to courageously show up vulnerably. People will say, like, you're so confident going live. How do you do it? If you scroll back far enough and find my very first live on Instagram, I was not this confident. I would like pre-plan everything I was going to say. Now I go live and don't even know what I'm going to say, right? Procrastination, money to invest in myself, embarrassment. Slow burn tattoos, you can learn everything online for free, just so you know. You can learn everything online for free. Coming from a person who my business is education, you can learn everything online for free if you need to. You got it. So what's behind, maybe there's a belief that you need to spend money to get to where you want to go. I mean, my education can help fast track it. If you relate to my struggles and you relate to the things I've overcome, like I said, if you don't relate to how I teach, what I teach and where I come from and how I built my business, then don't invest in my education. But if you do, it can help. But also you can, the YouTube University, my friend. And I say that not to dissuade people from working with me, but to be completely transparent and have integrity with you guys. You can learn everything for free. I mean, you can learn how to cut hair for free online. Honestly, I mean, probably not. There's certain things that you need to learn technically, right? And that's why also, like, if you guys are interested, if you are more of an in-person learner, and if you want to go deep behind the layer, like we're going to talk about the client magnet workshop. I'm talking about that a lot right now, and you can get the link for the early bird in my highlights. And I would really, really love, the people who are going to buy it, the people who've bought it already, I know are going to have the most amazing second half of their year. Because they're not just buying for being like, well, if I pay for something, then magically the answer will appear. They're ready to do the work. They're ready to get uncomfortable. They're scared. They're a little bit scared, but they're willing to do it anyway. It's not about waiting till you feel ready. It's not about waiting till you have your shit ducks in a row, shit in order. It's about willing to take messy, immediate, imperfect action, courageously showing up with vulnerability to build the confidence. The confidence isn't going to just show up one day. You have to start taking the steps towards it. You have to be willing to do it messily. And I know that's scary. It's scary to be seen trying and failing. It's scary to be seen as a beginner. It's scary to be seen tripping up over your words. It's scary to be seen like, oh my gosh, maybe you haven't been a beginner in a while. You're really talented and skilled at what you do. And yet the fear of putting yourself back out there and having to talk like that, you're like, well, when I'm here, then I will. I put in my stories last week, like, it's like a staircase. And we go, well, when I'm at the top, then I'll be able to. When I have that confidence, then I'll be able to do this no problem. But you only get that confidence by taking the first step, then the second step. And it feels really insignificant, taking one step up a staircase. Yet if you invited a friend over and they tried to go up your staircase in one step, you'd be like, what the hell are you doing? That's really weird, right? Or if they stay at the bottom and are like, I don't do stairs, and once I float up to the top, then I'll come hang out. It'd be weird, right? And yet you're doing that metaphorically in your business. You're not willing to humble yourself and take one step at a time. You think you're too good for it deep down. A lot of us fear is coming across egotistical, but we're actually driven by our ego more than we're willing to admit. The more insecure you are, the more your ego has a hold of you. And I hate to say that because a lot of insecure, shy, anxious people don't want it. They're like, well, I don't want to come across egotistical. And then you see someone who has pure confidence and you'll go, oh, who do they think they are? Look at them and their ego. When confidence is not egotistical. Confidence is born from courage and vulnerability. And if you're feeling insecure, it is the biggest sign that your ego has a hold of you. And I know you don't want to hear that. And I know that's some tough love what's on. But your ego is a sneaky bitch. And it'll convince you that you're being humble. It'll convince you that you're being honorable because you don't want to be cocky. When confidence and cockiness are two very different things. There's a difference between being like, when you sign up for I'm going to use my business, for example. When you sign up for the client magnet, you are in for an amazing time. We're going to work closely in a group format. You're going to have I'm going to be able to answer your questions directly. And it's going to, if you show up with the right attitude and the ability to take courageous and vulnerable action, it is going to change the course of your career and your clientele. And I know that. I know that because I've done it, but you have to show up with the right attitude. But I know my education will work if you relate to me. There's confidence. Cockiness would me saying, client magnet's the answer. And everybody should be taking the client magnet workshop with me if you want to build your clientele. No matter what, it is the only thing, it is the only way out there. You got to do it, right? Like, that's cocky. You can see the difference between confidence and cockiness. I know the client magnet workshop is going to change the way you show up in your business and the way you build your clientele, and you're gonna get clients from it, and you're gonna have a full clientele if you show up the right way and if you're willing to take courageous and vulnerable action. I absolutely know it'll work. I've seen it work time and time again for my past clients. I had a client who got 9 new guests in 1 week in a small town. I know it works. Confidence. I'm not going to say it's a guarantee for everybody who takes it. Cockiness, like my education's the only education, it's the best. No, I know that there's many educators out there. There's great educators out there. Just like there's many, like, let's talk about like self-development books. There's so many out there. There's not one that's the be-all, end-all, and you should only read that one. Different perspectives. You need to invest in different perspectives. And what happens is if you invest in too many at a time, if you're taking in, that's why I say only learn from 1 or 2 educators at a time. If you're learning from more, you're going to get a confusing outlook because we're all going to have our own perspective, and then you're going to think that you have to hold them all, right? So confidence and cockiness when you're showing up in your business are different. And I kind of went off on a tangent there, ADHD. But what I'm saying here is, what did I just do? What's going on here? High maintenance, no coffee or walk date. What is this? Okay, sorry. ADHD at its finest. You need to be, so if you are playing small because you're like, well, I don't want to come across as cocky. Confidence and cocky, 2 very different things, as I just showed an example for you. And also, like I was saying, your ego is a sneaky bitch, and it'll convince you that you're being humble when really it's keeping you playing small. It's keeping you from getting out of your comfort zone. Self-sabotage disguises itself as comfort. So if you don't feel uncomfortable, you're likely self-sabotaging. So I just want to invite you guys and let you know about my client magnet workshop. If you have the link is in my highlights under Get Clients. You can go through and read more about it. The early bird pricing is still on. There's still a couple spots left for the first 10 people get a complimentary 90-minute one-on-one session with me. Go snag that up. I can't wait to do a 90-minute session with you on your business. Those, I do not do one-on-ones, and so I'm really excited to be offering this. And if you guys have any questions about business or clientele, pop them in the comments right now. I'm going to open it up. I don't often do a lot of Q&A, but I want you guys to experience what my education is like. For those of you guys, I'm curious, put a 1 in the chat if, with no expectation or obligation, put a 1 in the chat if working in a group format, getting my eyes on your business is something that is of interest to you, whether it be building a clientele or not, because I'm structuring my business right now. And I know the live component and the accountability is an important part, and I'm curious in what way do you need it and what way would it be helpful. But also want to just open up for Q&A with you right now. Texture and curls, yeah girl, love it. I have so many, look at this. 1, 2, 3. Tell me I have ADHD without telling me I have ADHD. Diane, love it. And if you guys have any questions about your specific scenario, I just want to open it up right now, too. You do not need to worry about coming across as desperate. You do not need to worry about being too pushy. Developing confidence does not mean cockiness. We confuse confidence with being overly confident. Cocky, right? Like, I'm the best. You only want to learn from me. Come do my education. It's going to change your life. It's going to be like no other education you've ever taken before. That's cockiness. But saying, 2 to 3 drinks. But saying, I know that my client magnet workshop has the ability to change your future and your financial future and your business. I can't guarantee it because I can't guarantee you're going to do the work. But if you're willing to take messy, immediate, imperfect action, show up courageously and vulnerably, and invest in a different perspective in opening up, instead of going, well, that doesn't work or that hasn't worked or it won't work, going, you know what, I'm going to try and I'm going to see this from a different perspective. I'm willing to fall flat on my face, and I'm willing to fail and fail again and fail upwards. Because I will tell you this, I didn't get to here where I'm at in my business. I didn't build my clientele in under 12 weeks in a city where I knew no one because I never failed previously. The first time I handed out a business card for someone to be my client, I was like, you should come get your hair done by me. And she gave me the weirdest look and she never booked in. I remember that day. It was in an IGA and I was 18 years old and I was so sick of sweeping floors and cleaning color bowls for my coworkers. And I was just like, I got to do it. I remember applying at a salon for a job that I really wanted to work at. And they said the owner will be out to talk to you, and waiting 45 minutes and no one coming. And then the girl at the front desk like ignored me, and I waited and waited, and then I left and I like walked away from my dream job. I failed so many times because I let my anxiety and my insecurity take hold of me. And then I had to go, how bad do I want this? Where do I want to be? What am I willing to do? What's the one thing that I'm scared to do and that I'm avoiding? And how can I try and push myself into it? You know, there is something, and I want you guys, if you're willing to put it in the comments, what's the one thing that you know you could do that could help, but it scares you just a little bit too much to actually be willing to do it, that you avoid it and you dance around it. If you really think about it, you know there's something that you know you could do that would probably help. And maybe it's putting yourself more out there. Maybe it's going online. Maybe it's telling people that you have availability for clients. There's something that you know deep down you could do that scares you a little bit, and so you avoid it and keep busy. Hairstylist of 23 years, lost over half my clientele due to COVID. I'm struggling on how to regain the clients. Yeah, well, Style and Hair 12, go into my highlights, click on the Get Clients, and really, I would really consider joining my Client Magnet Workshop. I want you guys to develop a magnetism towards yourself, so you're not trying to convince people to book in with you, but by the way you market yourself, by the way you show up in your business, the way you interact with people in real life, creates a magnetism towards you that people want to work with you. I'm going to teach you that in the Client Magnet Workshop. 32 years in, been struggling the past couple years. Yeah. Gotta go, girl. You're awesome. Thank you for leading. I want to be a client magnet. Yes, Patty. Well, go sign up. Patty, I would love for you to snag one of the last 90-minute strategy sessions that I have offered for the first few people that join the Client Magnet. So go into my highlights and grab the early bird right now. You won't regret it. I'm 68 and doing hair 48 years, and it seems like all I'm attracting older clients, and it's weird. A lot of younger clients are limited, even though I'm doing up-to-date work, and it seems like they only want, and then cut off. They want to go to younger stylists. Got to create magnetism, baby. Take messy and immediate imperfect action. How do I find that? The Style and Hair, you're talking about the link? So in the highlights, when you go on my profile, there's the highlights at the top, the little circles, and it'll say, Get Clients. And you can tap through those, and there'll be the early bird link. Hopefully that's helpful. If you can't find it, DM me and I will send you the link. DM me just saying Client Magnet and I will get you the link right away for the early bird price. We're going to be doing it, I believe it's the second week in August, but even if you can't make the live calls, you can submit your questions and as well as get the recordings. Awesome. Okay, you guys, this was amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I will be here again tomorrow morning to help guide you with building your clientele. I'm really promoting the Client Magnet right now because I know it's going to change the trajectory of your career. It doesn't matter how skilled and talented you are. It doesn't matter how cute your space is. It doesn't matter your social media following. If you don't have people booking in and paying you, I don't care what your policies are. I don't care what your prices are. You just need people to book. And the most important thing is that you're not relying on like discount seekers or devaluing yourself, trying to, like the whole, here's 20% off. It starts to come off as desperate. And you don't want that. You don't want to use a discount to draw people in. You can, and it can help. But there's other things you can do. You need to create a magnetism towards yourself. And then discounts can be a way to reward people. I don't believe in discounting your services because then people only will think you're worth that much. I think personal opinion, I believe in discounting products or bonuses, but I do not believe in discounting your services. Personal opinion. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I want to keep on this train of building a clientele. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty with it, if you're ready to take messy, immediate, imperfect action, courageously and vulnerably, and become a magnet to clients, go get in on the Client Magnet Workshop. You will not regret it. Okay, love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Until then, stay weird.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast and for tuning into Business Breakfast and Bedhead. Like I said, I would love for you to join me live on these over on Instagram. So once again, just look up Dawn Bradley and let's connect. Shoot me a DM, send me a screenshot, tag me in your stories of listening to this or what you took away from this. Those comments, that feedback really makes my day and helps me know that these things are landing and that you want to hear more. I do these lives and I do this podcast for you, to help you, and your feedback means the world to me. And if you enjoyed this episode, help me spread the love. Share it with a friend, a coworker, family member, or leave a review. And make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Until then, friend, stay weird.